to the Packer Mentality Podcast, where we will discuss Packer news, roster decisions, and games. My name is Patrick Corrigan, and I am your host. I am also a Packer shareholder. You can find and follow me on Twitter at Packer Mentality. My podcasts are available on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. If you are watching me on YouTube, please help my channel and help me out and subscribe. And hit the like button on the video. It helps me. It costs you nothing. So if you don't have time to keep up with all the Packer news, reports, or social media, or just can't make any sense of what's going on, let me help you make sense of the nonsense. And thank you, and I appreciate that you're joining me. First things, I am trying to improve the quality of my videos, and I did realize that my background is super boring. So I dug out a few things to break up the monotony. First, I do mention in my intro that I am a Packer shareholder. Above my head is my shareholder certificate. This one, not from the past year, and not from 2011. This one, I got mine in 1997. Someone has one dating farther back. You have to go all the way back to 1950, 1935, or 1923. Would be a really cool thing to have. On Sunday, the Packers will host the New England Patriots in the later afternoon time slot. Let's talk about that matchup and what could be the keys to a Packer victory. First off, let's start with the injury report for the Patriots. Mac Jones is out despite all the shenanigans that he or the Patriots were playing during the week. He is out on the injury report that came out today, Friday. Questionable for the Patriots, and I'm only going to list the starters or probable starters. Wide receiver Jacoby Myers, he is their best wide receiver. He's got a knee injury. Safety Kyle Duggar, he's also got a knee injury. And cornerback Jalen Mills has a hamstring injury. All those guys are questionable. We'll see if they play. Packers, on the other hand, are mostly healthy. Only Jair Alexander is listed as questionable. Christian Watson is good to go for our offense. And let's start there. Excuse me. Packers offense versus the Patriots defense. Whenever you talk about the Patriots for the last 20 years or more, actually, you start with their defense and Bill Belichick. He is quite possibly the best coach ever in the NFL. His defenses are always good, regardless of anything else that's going on. And he's got these Super Bowl trophies to prove it. He plays head games with the opponent's offense and their quarterbacks. Generally takes at least one thing away from your offense. Make you play left-handed. Make you do the things you aren't great at to try and beat them. And so far this year, kind of mixed results. They gave up 37 points to the Ravens in a loss, 20 points to Miami in a loss. Now both of those are very good teams. Gave up 14 points to Pittsburgh in a win, but the Steelers are going through some growing pains with a new quarterback, so not sure what to make of that particular result. Now, their defense is not as talented as the Buccaneers that we saw last week. Definitely not as many stars, and not as good as some of the Patriots' defenses in the past. Now, as weird as this may sound, I do expect the Patriots to try and shut off the running game and force the Packers to throw the ball and force the unproven receivers to try and win the game for them. But despite that, and this may sound a little bit like a broken record, Packers still need to keep feeding Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Packers offensive line versus the Patriots defensive line. Expect stunts and games by the defensive line. Bill Belichick will throw a lot of things at the offense, try and confuse the offensive line. Dietrich Wise and Matthew Judon are their edge guys. They pressure the quarterback as well as anybody in the league. They're among the best this season so far in quarterback sacks and pressures. But overall, this is not as good a D line or linebacker group as we saw last week in Tampa Bay. And when we spread out Aaron Jones as a wide receiver, anybody, any linebacker that they run out there with him, it's going to be a mismatch. The offensive line does need to continue to gel as a unit. It was a huge boost to get David Bakhtiari back last week, and he was good in his return. But I'm not sure if they will continue to rotate at left tackle, so we'll see what happens if we get Bakhtiari for a series and then Josh Neisman for a series. We'll see. The receivers and the passing game do need to get vertical to loosen up the defense. Last week, the Buccaneers focused on the running game and the short passing game in the second half, and it worked. It shut down the Packers' offense in the second half. And I'm sure Belichick watched that film, and I'm sure he's going to test to see if the Packers are going to change anything. Their cornerbacks, they're veterans, but they are not as good as the guys we faced last week. And we all saw Romeo Doubs have a breakout game. Should give the Patriots something to think about. Packers spreading the ball around a lot more than they did last year, and no one's dominating Rodgers' targets. Need to continue doing that. Christian Watson is back from his hamstring injury. He is going to be a mismatch against anyone he lines up against. He is going to be faster than anyone else on the field. In response to that, and with the Packers' relative youth at wide receiver, I expect the Patriots to come up and press and try and disrupt the Packers receivers at the line, get physical with them, and we'll see how the Packers receivers, how they react. Just like last week, we still have a size mismatch in the secondary. Jonathan Jones, he's been really good so far this year. He's an excellent cornerback, but he is still only 5'10". That is still a 7-inch height advantage for Christian Watson and Allen Lazard. On the other side, Jalen Mills has struggled. He's been getting beat, and he has a bad hamstring. So I expect the Packers to, regardless of who he's going up against, I expect them to force the issue against Jalen Mills. At the tight end, the tight ends versus the Patriots safeties. Safety Kyle Duggar, he's got a bad knee, and he had all sorts of problems covering Mark Andrews last week for the Ravens. But so does everybody. Tunyon has been pretty good so far this season at getting open when Rodgers needs him, and I expect that to continue on Sunday. I expect a good game from Tunyon. On the other side of the ball, Packers defense, very simple. Just want to see them be aggressive, play like they did last week, have the same mentality, play downhill. This defense is much better playing downhill rather than sitting back and trying to just contain offenses. Do not let up. Keep the same intensity and aggressiveness every series. Don't get a lead and then go into prevent. I don't care who's at quarterback or how good they are or how bad they are. I'd like to see them get out in front and force the Patriots to try and throw the ball, pressuring whoever is at quarterback into turnovers. Don't let them stay in the game and run the ball to keep Rodgers off the field. The Patriots will try to run. Devondre Campbell, Quay Walker are going to be key this week. Just play like last week. Be quick, fly around to the ball, make the tackles. I do expect Brian Hoyer to be the quarterback for the Patriots. He's a veteran backup, but he is a backup. He is not Tom Brady. Pressure is the key. Hoyer, since he's not Tom Brady, he's not getting passes off in less than 2 seconds. The Packers' pass rush can't get to him. He is not mobile. As far as the pass rush goes, Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith, I expect them to do as they usually do. They're going to get a lot of attention, but I think the key to the Packers' pass rush is on the inside. Patriots center David Andrews and their right guard Cole Strange, who is a rookie, first round rookie, but still a rookie. They're both struggling against the pass rush. And guess who they're going up against? He is the best interior pass rusher on PFF. That would be Kenny Clark. I expect Kenny to have a big game and make their life absolutely miserable. In the secondary, Jair, he's questionable with a groin injury. I do not expect Jair to play. Let him sit this week. I don't think we need him. Get him 100% healthy for the rest of the season. Secondary needs to play aggressive like they did against the Buccaneers. Mix up, get some man coverage in there. Jacoby Myers is the best Patriots receiver, and he's questionable. After him, it's Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, and Nelson Aguilar. That's not a murderer's row. They are veterans, but they are not anything near. Honestly, they're not elite. And I think Stokes, Rasul Douglas, and Keyshawn Nixon should be able to handle those guys with both Amos and Savage playing well behind them. I do expect a comfortable Packers win, and we'll see how that plays out and go over that in the next episode. Keep an eye out on Tuesday for that. In the meantime, have a great weekend. Be safe. Enjoy the game and cheer on the Packers. Go Pack Go.